Welcome to On the Corner of Main Street, presented by Plaza Hotel and Casino in downtown Las Vegas. Here is Plaza CEO Jonathan Jossel, Russell Aaron, Gary Vickery, and I'm your host, Lisa Melmed. Hello, everyone. We finally have a date to reopen June 4th, and we can't wait to welcome you back to the Plaza. Just please keep in mind your health and safety remain our top priority, and we have implemented numerous safety protocols to align with federal, state, and local health guidelines. Let's have some fun.
Lisa, I got to tell you, I feel like a kid on Christmas Eve. I know we're recording this on June 1st, but I cannot wait to be open and start welcoming guests back to the property. So excited.
I've been staring and reading these things about when the Plaza opened up at midnight in 1971, and I can't wait to open up. I know we open up later in the afternoon, but I just can't wait to have some part of that vintage Vegas feel like, you got when things reopened in the first place, man. I'm excited.
I love all of your enthusiasm, and it's great to hear it. It's infectious. I take a little different approach to it. I'm excited to get everyone back here. I'm excited to open the doors, see everyone again. I actually don't see it as like a grand opening celebration. I see it as let's get our doors open, let's slowly build, and let's just get back to where we were before. Maybe I'm a downer, but I feel like this is not a celebration, although it's great that we're reopening and everyone's coming back. It's more of, we just got to get back to where we were and get back to business, because it's been a terrible, let's call it 90 days for everybody. And to me, it's less of a grand opening and more of a, okay, we're open and let's figure it out. But I do not want to dampen your guys' enthusiasm, because I really do appreciate it.
I mean, I don't know if you've been inside the Plaza, but it's a pretty happening place, and like the Palm Springs vibe, like it makes you just want to party. And I'm showing up to parties, all I'm saying. Like, I have a good time when I'm there.
Just for personal experience, every time I've been talking to team members, letting them know when we're reopening and giving all the information, they're all excited. Everybody's ready to get back and bring that experience back to downtown.
So let's take it back to when the governor announced June 4th. Jonathan, what was going through your mind when that happened?
Well, it became a bit of a running joke at the end of when was the state actually going to come out and when was it actually going to be. I know that originally the date, I think, was April 17. That was 30 days after the closure. Then it was May 1st. Then it was May 22nd. Then it was May 26th. We actually felt like, okay, we don't want to be the first ones to reopen necessarily, because if people were going to open on May the 22nd or May the 26th, we wanted to see what they were going to look like, and we were going to open around June 1 was our original plan. So when that sort of days came and went, and we realized that June 1 wasn't even going to be an option, once it became June 4, it was just like, okay, we're all in this together and we're all going to open up on the same day. And June 4 was enough time that I felt we had to reopen and obviously get our team members back and go for it. So the question then, Lisa, was more not about do we open, but what is going to open and what's going to happen and what's it going to look like here on June the 4th. I think I can't explain to you why June the 4th was chosen. It was an arbitrary date. Was there some data and science, so to speak, behind it? I don't know that I have the reason for why June the 4th, not June the 1st, which is what I think most of us were expecting. So once June the 4th came out, it was just, okay, we're opening June the 4th. It's a Thursday, and we're going to go for it. There was no doubt about it.
So let's talk about what people can expect when they actually do come visit the Plaza.
Well, it's funny. We actually got a call over the weekend. I'm not sure I'm allowed to say this, but I'll say it, from the governor. And I got a call at home on Saturday, and the message was, look, we want you to open. We wish you luck, but we do not want to see scenes of like the Ozarks pool party coming out of Vegas. And I thought that was a timely call and a timely message. And that's maybe what not tapered my expectation when you guys are talking about grand reopening, but this idea of a reopening, but we can't get back to what we were, to me is a challenge, because, one of the questions I get asked a lot is, are you going to have your live music back? Well, we can't do that because you can't have
Right.
those gatherings. So I think the message that I heard was very loud and clear, was, very sensible, very cautious, and very limited. And that's sort of what we're going to do. And I do tend to agree with that, because this isn't a sprint. This is a marathon. We're not trying to, get 1 million people in here day one. We're going to reopen, and we're going to get back to where we were. And
we're definitely doing this safely. I know there was a 13-page document submitted to the Gaming Control Board of all the guidelines that we are implementing to make sure that this is done safely.
Yeah, the 13-page document was without the exhibits. I think with the exhibits, it was like 25 pages.
Wow.
So the team here put a lot of time and effort into what that looks like. And I will tell you, and I think we said this on every show, but there's a lot of unknowns. Nobody knows what's going to happen. Nobody knows what it's going to look like. Nobody knows what the atmosphere is going to be. I got to say, I did go to the Wynn Steakhouse SW on Saturday night for dinner, and there was a very good balance there of measures in place while still allowing us to, enjoy ourselves and have a good meal, have a good experience. They definitely have a lot of social distancing in place. The restaurant was only at 50% capacity. Servers are wearing masks. There's no menus. There's no cutlery on the table. But the overall experience it's still SW. There's still great food. There's still great. You're still sitting out there on the water. So
it's just a whole different process.
Just a different process. It's going to take time to get used to. But I think if we can execute that, and I will tell you, all the staff there were very friendly, very everyone from the security to the EVS said welcome back. It was great to be back out and see people working and enjoying themselves.
Do you study your environment, Jonathan? Like, when you see that, are you taking notes on how we can always improve procedures or how we can do things better? Are you always looking at when you go out to these places?
Absolutely. I love looking at what other people are doing. We're not reinventing the wheel, Russ. A lot of this is this has been done, tried and tested by other places. And I told Gary this morning, I said, when people walk into our building, they got to hear the words "welcome back." It's a nice feeling. It's a nice touch, and that's something that we're going to do. And hopefully, everyone on our team will do that. But it was nice to be out and see that. I think for us, it's going to be as best we can to deliver the Plaza experience, but there's going to be things that we don't have that we used to have, and that's going to be difficult, whether it's the table games restrictions that we're going to have right now. This is breaking news for anyone, but we probably are not going to open with craps in the first couple of weeks, just because craps, to me, one of the guidelines is you have to clean the dice in between shooters, and to me that just seems like a lot to undertake in the first week of reopening. So we're just going to wait to see how others are doing it, what exactly that looks like, and then we'll add craps back in later on. We're not going to have the live music that when people love Wonder Boogie. I'm amazed on how many people write to me on Twitter say, "When's Wonder Boogie coming back?"
Wonder Boogie's the best.
After comedy shows, man, they're always rocking. Like, sometimes, like when the comedy act is almost getting done, you can hear them blast into the walls, and like, we're still dancing, man. Like they're a good time.
They are, and that's a good point, Russ. We are looking to try to restart comedy sometime in June or July. Comedy seems to be something we can pull off in this environment, so that's something we're going to look to do, and maybe even do a free show for locals to get comedy going. The restaurants, Lisa, we're still figuring out what's going to be open, even though it's 4 days to go. Hash House is the one that's the most unknown at this point. So we'll hopefully know by the end of the day if Hash House will be open, or if they're open, is it going to be every day, just weekends? It seems like the industry is expecting a lot of business on the weekends, but midweeks are going to be a little slower.
So let's talk about when guests first walk into the Plaza. How many entrances are there going to be? Are we taking temperatures? Who's checking into the hotel? Gary, can you tell us about that?
So after the guests come into the building, we're going to bring them over into the registration area and give them a wellness temperature screening prior to checking in. We're going to make sure that every guest is healthy before we allow them to check in. That's part of the rules of the Gaming Control Board that we're going to start. So It'll be non-invasive. It's just going to be a temperature gun. We'll make sure that the temperature is good. If for some reason we have any guests that are over the allotted temperature, we're going to put them into a nice air-controlled room, let them cool off for a little bit and test them again, and then we'll be happy to get them checked in at that point. When each guest comes and checks in, we're going to offer them, we have a nice little amenity package that'll come with a face covering, gloves, little packet of hand sanitizer if they so choose, if they didn't already bring their own belongings with them. So we're definitely excited to have everybody back, make sure that we put all of our policies in place that can keep everybody safe, whether it's the team members or the guests.
One thing that Lisa, I learned this morning is that we've opened up our air intake, doubled by the amount that we used to have prior to closing, which is actually double the requirement that you need to have. So we're going to have a lot more fresh air flowing through the building, and we've changed from regular filters to a very specific dual 9 pleated filter, which again will allow for much fresher air and better air quality coming through the building.
And then, of course, we'll also have social distancing stickers throughout the property. What areas are getting plexiglass?
As of right now, we have plexiglass in place at the front desk. We have them at all of our outlets. So Pop-Up Pizza, Coffee Bar, Bingo has them installed. The Plaza Reward Center, as well as Casino Services, all have plexiglass up, as well as the cashier's cage. So all that's been installed. It looks nice. It looks clean, and it should be good. And we'll probably be adding a little bit more as business picks up, and we have to open up a little bit more of the property.
And then what about gloves and masks?
Masks are going to be mandatory and worn by all of our team members, both in the back of house and front of house positions. And for guests, it's going to be recommended. We're going to give them out to people. Obviously, at table games, when you sit down, we're going to have you remove it so that we can check your ID or so that surveillance can seize you, but you can put it right back on. There will be sanitizer on every table games table so that you can clean your hands after each hand if you want, or just before you touch your mask, or whatever it is you wish to do. But they're not going to be mandatory for guests, which is obviously a very hot topic. I don't know of anyone that's making it mandatory for guests in town, but everyone's doing recommended, and we will be offering them out if you wish to have one.
And we'll obviously be increasing how much we are disinfecting public areas, including elevator buttons.
Yeah, so on the casino floor, we have our Plaza Clean team that has already been out and disinfecting the entire property as we speak. And they'll be 24 hours a day, making sure that they get to all the different areas that our guests are in. When it comes to the rooms, we for all the guest rooms, we are going to be focusing a lot of our time and energy onto making sure that all of our rooms are clean and disinfected. We will be making sure that each guest personally knows when their room was clean and by who. We'll have a record of all of that, and we'll put a nice little tin in the room for them. On top of that, we will also have our stayover service will be temporarily suspended so that our housekeeping team can really go in and make sure that all of our new arriving guests will have top of the line cleaning coverage and disinfected with all the new policies that they're doing.
And then, so for the casino and table games, what's happening with like chips and cards?
The table games is probably the most tricky of all the procedures we have to deal with at this point. Obviously, the reduced occupancy at each table. So blackjack will only have 3 people at a table, roulette 4 people, and then when we do open craps, it'll be 3 on each side of the table, so 6 total. The cards are going to become non-touch, so guests will not be able to touch the cards anymore on blackjack. And at the end of each shift, they will be disinfected or basically thrown away. And then roulette's pretty straightforward. However, the chips are going to get cleaned either at the end of each shift or when they get turned into the cage. So we'll have to take the chips off the table each night, clean them, and then bring them back. It's a definite added procedure that we don't normally do. It's a lot more time consuming, but it's one of the things that's very important at this time. So we will be doing that.
Will Pai Gow Poker be open at the start?
Not at the start. Nope. Okay. At the start, we're opening with Blackjack Roulette, and seeing how that goes as we grow into it. Like I said, this is a challenge for us to figure out, and we will slowly build into the carnival games and bringing craps back hopefully very soon.
We have a couple of questions from social media asking about what's going to be open and what to expect. Let's go through those, and then if there's anything else that we haven't touched on, we can cover that as well. So Laura M asks, what time will we be opening on the 4th?
We are opening at 9 a.m. The first bingo game is 11 a.m. and our doors will open at 9. I respect everyone that's sort of got this mentality of 12:01, let's go. To me, it doesn't make sense because, like I said at the start of this thing, this isn't the grand reopening. This is just, hey, we're open, we're getting back to where we were, and we're at 50% occupancy. There's not going to be the same sense of excitement that we typically have. So that's
when we reopen, we're at 50% occupancy.
Yeah, that's max.
That's a bigger number than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah. 50% is the number of rooms we will have available at first, and 50% of our slot machines, 50% of restaurant seating. Butch
J asks, will Oscars be open?
We're looking at it right now to see if we can open Oscars, on the weekends, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, limited without, going all back to the full menu. It's part of this is, being able to get back the workforce, being able to get back the produce, and then delivering the experience that people have come to expect in there while having 50% occupancy, masks, and no menus, which, given my experience on Saturday night, I think is possible. I just have to see how that works for us. So right now, we are probably not going to be right away on June the 4th, but very soon after that, we think we'll get at least a version of Oscars back open.
Chris R asks if we'll be offering our airport shuttle.
We will not be offering the shuttle at least through June and July. We want to make sure that we can properly screen all of our hotel guests before we, kind of put them all into one shuttle bus and bring them to the property. So we're going to closely monitor that and bring that back as soon as it's available. But we're probably not looking at that till at the earliest, early August.
DM asks if the pool will be open.
The pool will be open. The pool's going to be open with the hotel. How do you open our property in June with the heat 110 degrees outside and not have our pool open? Obviously, we can't do the events out there, and we can't do, we have to do limited seating. We're going to have to find a way to make sure people don't go back to back in the pool water, but we are going to open the pool and have as much of it as available as we had before. Definitely the bar will be open so people can get drinks out there.
Will the food truck be open?
As of now, the food truck will not be open, but we will allow for food from downstairs to be taken up there.
I've been craving that Impossible Burger for like a while now, man, with like their fries. Just on
Give us a couple of weeks. Hopefully it'll be open soon.
Darren D wants to know if Fremont Street will be open with their bands and bars.
Fremont Street will be open on June the 3rd, the day before we all open, I'm told. And the bars will all be open. However, the live music will not be open again. You just can't do large gatherings. So if you put live music on a stage and you have hundreds of people standing next to each other in front of it, it defeats the purpose of what we're all doing. So live music is out, I believe, but there will still be the Fremont Street Experience, the light show, and I'm sure some of everyone's favorite entertainers on the streets.
Sandra FS is asking, will there be bingo?
Absolutely. There will be bingo every day. Usual sessions, starting 11 a.m., 1 p.m., 3 p.m., 5 p.m., 7 p.m., and 9 p.m. And we have moved the June Super Bingo which, by the way, was a big catalyst for our original reopening plan. And then once we realized we couldn't do June 1, which was today, we had to move it from June 1, and we will be doing Super Bingo July the 5th to the 7th with very, 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 very strict social distancing plans in place so that we can pull off that event.
And then, of course, the bingo room will also be limited.
Yeah, the regular bingo daily sessions, there's plexiglass up there, there's wipe down every session, all the equipment, there's social distancing, all the team members will be wearing masks, there's seats removed to create space. So yes, the regular bingo sessions as well will be adjusted. But that's the one area where we've seen a tremendous amount of excitement and demand for people to reopen. So I'm excited to see how bingo looks after we get through this.
It sounds like bingo is going to be a little easier in the sense of that we have the electronic machines and we don't have daubers and boards that we have to turn in and wipe down and things. You get to wipe down the machines and the plexiglass. It sounds like it's an easier process than some other games in town.
Yeah, it's definitely easier to create the space, and it's more controlled in terms of when people are arriving, when they're coming in, so you can staff accordingly and have them waiting in the right things. It's much easier than the tables or slots, which is random.
At Jason Stell asks, will bar top machines be operational? And if so, how do we keep people from slipping in to order drinks?
So bar tops are going to be available. There's a debate right now, Lisa, and this is something we're trying to figure out. If you turn off every second one, then how do people that were in quarantine together sit next to each other and play together and have a drink together? And then the flip side is it Jason who just asked that question? Jason wants to know, how do you stop someone coming next to me? Mm-hmm. So there is a fine line to this of people want to be able to sit next to their partners, and people don't want anyone strange next to them. It's going to have to be on our team members and the bartender specifically to ensure that the spacing is observed at the bar. We probably will start by turning off every second machine, and then allow guests to, if they want to sit next to their husband or wife, to move the seat next to them. Or we could just figure out a way for those particular guests to turn on the device that they're looking for.
Can we have like a couples gaming area? I've always wanted to see that in the hotel. Like there's just a place for couples. There's 2 machines. There's space. I think that'd be cool.
So Ross, that's a great point. We did think of that, but then how do you enforce it? If somebody says no, I want to go in there, you can't stop them. And if somebody sits at a machine next to somebody that isn't their partner, you create a dynamic you don't want. So this is going to be a learning process. Right now, we'll probably turn off every second machine and see how it goes.
At J Lee 1988 asks if people will be encouraged or expected to play 2 hands at table games.
I think what she's asking is, instead of playing 1 hand, do you play 2 hands at the same time, or will we force them to play 2 hands to maximize the number of bets at the table? I guess, but no, we're not going to do that. Just 1 hand. If you could play 2 hands if you want, but
I guess if you got the money, yeah.
It's not going to be required.
One of the biggest things that we're offering is free parking.
Yes, exactly. And we do want to encourage local drive market to come back to Vegas or back to downtown. Locals are already here, obviously, and free parking is an important thing. In my mind, Plaza already had essentially free parking, although there are some exceptions to that. But if you basically came here and did anything, you were getting your parking validated. But we had to do parking many years ago because of the downtown parking situation. But we're excited to be able to offer free parking, and hopefully it will encourage locals in the drive market to get back to downtown. And the great thing with downtown right now is we're all opening on June the 4th. You have a lot of regional casinos that aren't opening. You have a lot of places on the strip that aren't opening. And we're all opening up down here, which means when you come downtown, you'll be able to get as close to, it's not going to be the same, but as close to the same experience as was here before, whereby we're all open and you can walk from place to place. And I think that's a great testament to downtown, that not only are we all opening, but we all survived this crazy 90 days. In my business career, I've never experienced anything quite like this, or
There's nothing in a textbook. There's nothing that you can go back and say, hey, we learned from, you literally had to write the way through this.
Yeah, where's the business plan, Russ, where you're operating, having the best months you've ever had, and then suddenly the government shuts you down without any notice and says you're done for 90 days. There's no business plan or textbook to guide you through this. So for us, it's been a challenge. I know for everyone it's been a challenge, and I'm just excited that we've survived it, made it through, and we're able to bring everyone back. And we will slowly build back to where we were. So everyone's going to come back, and we appreciate all the support.
We have some exciting offers to bring people back, including the old school Fun is Back offer that people can book using code FUN20, where they get the lowest room rates, a $25 daily food and beverage credit, a $75 daily bingo match play, $10 free slot play, a complimentary hotel room upgrade, early check-in and late checkout, and of course, free parking.
It's a great offer. And hopefully we'll see a lot of people back here on Thursday and in the coming weeks.
And if you have any other questions of what the Plaza will look like once we reopen, you can tweet Jonathan at Jonathan Jossel, or tweet the Plaza at Plaza Las Vegas, or tweet the podcast at @otcoms_podcast.
And I am looking forward to getting back to our regular format with guests and all of us at the bar at Oscars, where we can host this podcast with drinks, socialize, and have our guests and not talk about a virus and new procedures.
I will take an old-fashioned with a Jameson from Oscars any time of the week.
Hopefully it's soon.
Preferably right before comedy, and double fisting into the showroom is how I prefer to.
Well, we'd love to hear from you, to hear when you'll come back to the Plaza and visit us. Until then, we'll all be back on the corner of Main Street on June 4th.